What do you make of this 180 by the president, who has been, since he took office, steadily dismantling even the border wall parts that you and President Trump had allocated for the remaining part of the border that you did not get to cover? He's been selling them off, and now he's seen the light.
Well, Megyn, thanks for having me on. And what a difference a crisis makes, right? I mean, from the first day of the Biden administration, he shut down construction of the border wall. We had built hundreds of miles of border wall. He committed himself to undo the Remain in Mexico policy that I negotiated with the Mexican government on behalf of the administration. And then he committed to rescind Title 42. The combination of those things, Megyn, as you know, had reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%. Joe Biden threw open the southern border of the United States. I've been down there 4 times, which I think is 4 times more than the current vice president, and standing along the border, seeing literally steel girders stacked like a parked railroad car rusting in the sun because Joe Biden refused to allow anyone to build any further border wall. Just again, this decision today, it feels like too little, too late. But for heaven's sakes, let's just get on with it, right? I mean, a nation without borders is not a nation. I saw last night where Secretary Mayorkas is requesting all the necessary waivers you just described to get going on building the wall, but it's just part of the equation. We absolutely have to see Remain in Mexico back into effect. We absolutely have to deputize courts and prosecutors around the country to process the over 6 million asylum applicants that are now strewn all over the United States. But people need to know that this today is, to me, this is a confirmation that even the Biden administration has come to realize that this is a man-made crisis at our border, and that man's name is Joe Biden. And we've got to get back to what was working during our administration.
It's amazing because it's only going to be, even given this crisis, we're literally at unprecedented levels of migrants crossing that border. Even at this stage, with him saying he's going to now build the wall, he's talking about, I think, 26 miles of it. I mean, we have a lot more to go. So even this feels like a fig leaf under this president, meant to what? Do you think this is a politics thing? He recognizes even the Democrats are turning on him?
Well, they are. I mean, you got Mayor Eric Adams in New York, who I was actually on Fox one day. They asked me about Mayor Adams, who had come to be critical of the Biden administration. He must have gotten a memo from Washington, because the next day, Mayor Adams, he didn't reverse his criticism, but he somehow blamed what was happening in New York with this avalanche of illegal immigrants and asylum applicants on the Trump-Pence administration. But now you got the governor of New York, you got the governor of Illinois, who actually is now complaining about this. So it feels like a fig leaf. It feels like too little, too late. But I think the American people deserve to know that what they announced late yesterday is tantamount to an admission that Joe Biden was wrong from day one when he shut down construction of that wall. It's one of the reasons why we need a new president. We need a wider majority in the Congress. We need a Republican Senate that'll secure the southern border of the United States. And as I hear about it everywhere I go, not just people, Megyn, as you know, but the scourge of fentanyl, most of which flows into our country through the southern border of the United States, is claiming lives in every community in this country. And whatever Joe Biden does today, whatever 20, 30 miles of wall he calls for to be built, we need an administration that's absolutely committed to put into effect the policies that we had put into effect that secured the southern border. And if I'm president of the United States, I promise you we will.
Yeah. Just yesterday, there was a report after Congress held a hearing on how the Chinese are buying up a bunch of American farmland. More and more states like Florida and others are trying to stop this, but they're buying up a bunch of American farmland and then creating marijuana plant farms where they lace the marijuana with fentanyl they've gotten from Mexican drug cartels. This is what we're dealing with. It's not like the 60s where, people used to have a joint and it wasn't the end of the world. Your kid could have a joint now laced with fentanyl and die because we're allowing all of this to happen. It's just one of the many things that we need to worry about. let me switch topics while I'm on the subject of Congress, where you used to work. Things I think it's fair to say are in a bit of disarray right now. There's no speaker. McCarthy's fired. What do you make of the insurgency that Matt Gaetz led to boot Kevin McCarthy?
Well, I must tell you, I was deeply disappointed to see Congressman Gaetz and 7 other members of Congress partner with every single Democrat in the House of Representatives to fire the Republican Speaker of the House. Look, as you know, Megyn, you know me a long time. I was a backbench conservative. I led the House Conservative Caucus when I was in the Congress. We had our share of fights with our leadership. We had our share of fights with a Republican administration, but it would never have occurred to me or any Republican that I know to partner with the Democrat minority to throw out the Republican leadership in the Congress. It seems to me these 8 Republicans represent the chaos caucus. And I am wishing well to all of my former colleagues and so many of my friends in the House as they go through the process of choosing a new speaker. But I honestly believe that they also have to amend the conference rules and require a higher threshold so that you can't see a small number of members move to essentially hold the Speaker of the House hostage as he's moving forward. The last thing I would say to you too is I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm one of the few candidates for president that's been talking about the $33 trillion national debt that we have and the fact that we've got to be willing to have a conversation with the American people about reforming Social Security and Medicare to deal with it. But that's why I couldn't understand why the same congressman that partnered with the Democrats to throw out the Speaker of the House were among the 21 that voted against a short-term bill that actually had border funding in it, had budget cuts in it, and actually created a committee to begin to look at entitlement reform. I mean, when I was a leader of House Conservatives, I always took a strong stand, Megyn, but I always used to remind people, sometimes you got to take yes for an answer. And the Chaos Caucus in the House of Representatives, those 8 members, wouldn't take yes for an answer on Friday. And so come Tuesday of this week, they partnered with the Democrats to throw out the Republican Speaker of the House.
It's amazing.
I got a lot of confidence
the Democrats,
in our team. They're going to come together, choose good leadership, and move our country forward. So
the Democrats were having a really rough couple of weeks in the press. And then I guess Matt Gaetz decided he'd had enough of that. And now the Republicans are back in the press for all the wrong reasons. On the subject, before I leave it, President Trump tweeted out, he posted
on the day that 8 Republicans partnered with every Democrat in the Congress to fire the Republican Speaker of the House, a new poll came out that found that Republicans have the largest advantage on dealing with a struggling economy of any time in modern history. I mean, there's a gigantic gap. The American people know Bidenomics has failed. And I have to tell you, as I said that day when I found out about it, that chaos on Capitol Hill is never a friend to the majority, but more importantly, the chaos on Capitol Hill is doing nothing to secure our border, nothing to get this economy moving again. And I am hopeful that my old colleagues and my friends will come together and find a speaker that'll be able to bring the conference together and focus back on the American people's challenges.
I'm excited to tell you about our new sponsor, C60 Power. If you have not heard of Carbon 60 before, it's also known as C60, a powerful, naturally occurring, Nobel Prize-winning antioxidant that works at the cellular level. C60 Power says C60 can help to increase energy and mental clarity by neutralizing oxidative stress and the toxic free radicals that contribute to aging. Now, not all producers of C60 are created equally. It's very important to go for high quality, 99.99% pure C60 if you're going to do it, and don't accept any cheap knockoffs. Many people who consume just a teaspoon a day of C60 Power as part of their morning routine note an increase in energy and mental clarity within 30 days of daily use. If you feel like you're slowing down or could benefit from more energy and mental clarity, and you're ready to kick that brain fog to the curb, you can visit shopc60.com to check it out and use the code Megyn10 for 10% off your first order. Okay, that's shopc60.com, promo code Megyn10. Or you can just click the link in the description for shopc60.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.